go fast instead of slowly, instead of last. If my father survives me, if I explode, if I go up in smoke, if I go quietly, when I go quiet, give my heart to my mother. She'll know what to do. Give my songs to my lover. She'll know what to do. Give my bones to my father. My poems to my sister. My love to one another. Give it all to each other. And I suppose the soul can go to the children. I suppose the trash can go to the museum. I suppose the dreams can go in the casket. I suppose the blood will go where you ask it. Will go where you ask it. Will spill where you ask it. Will spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I was once the tree, and I was the paper. I was the hair, and I was the razor. I was the leg, I was the table. I was the cloth, and I was the indigo. And I was the indigo, and I was the indigo. And I was the indigo, and I was a color girl. And I was a color girl, and I was a color girl. And I was a color girl, and I was a color girl. Doom did. It's the blue light when we're out with our friends. It's the blue light asking where the night should end. It's the blue light saying, come over. It's the blue light, my coat on my shoulders. Lying in your room, playing with your hair. Lying to myself, saying that there's nothing there. There's nothing that we share. No reason to care, no way of knowing where this is going. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's the cold light of the moon when I'm walking home. It's the warm light through my window when I wake up alone. It's the white lies when our friends ask what's going on. It's the white lies when I say we're just fucking and that's all. Laughing in your room, riding in your car, promising myself I won't let this go too far. And yet here we are, gather round, roll a fat one, pour the shots, give this dead all you've got. Let the liquor loosen your mouth, make a bow with friendly tongues. Call your lover, say you're sorry, then go back to making fun. Your friends are drunk and useless. Welcome to senior year. The night is young and ruthless, and you want to disappear in the hallway, in the hall, in the hallway, in the hall. You can hear them all around you, broken hearts and blushing sighs. Truth's a hard pill to swallow, but it'll still.
Why, hello, everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome to the next leg of Collab in Color, which I am so honored to be a part of as Transplanar. So hi, everyone. Because Transplanar's main campaign episodes are pre-recorded, all of the spiels that we usually do don't really line up for Collab in Color because this was done in the past, which is our future, or our future, which is your past. I'm not good at time. I'm not a math gay. But here I am to welcome you into this next journey of Collab in Color. Hello, Dicey Amazons in chat. Hello, all of our usual regular members. And hello, any new faces who might be new to Transplanar but are here because of Collab in Color. Welcome in. Take a seat. Pop a squat. You're about to enjoy some very chaotic, queer, dramatic, dark fantasy D&D. But before we get into it, a couple quick announcements that are relevant to this event right now. This is a part of Collab in Color. You can see the schedule right over here to my right. This is the second day of Collab in Color, the second to last event. But before I get a little too ahead of myself, you might be wondering, what is Collab in Color? Well, it's a 4-way charity stream extravaganza effort between Transplanar RPG, Dicey Amazons, Utopia TV, and friends who roll dice, with united under a single banner for one purpose, which is to raise money for trans rights and Ukrainian relief. Yesterday and today, we are raising money for trans rights. You can see the Tiltify overlay above me, above the Transplanar logo. I'm not going to do that ever again in my life. We are raising money for Equality Texas Foundation. We are at $709.69, nice, out of $1,000. My personal goal, before we pass it along back to Utopia for the final event tonight, is to hit 1K. I believe in the power of gay to hit 1K. And if we do, I promise I will release. I have written it. It is here. It is in my notes. I will release Paxton's poem in chat while donations go up, and on Twitter, which was a poem for a TTRPG I made with Deimos Academy yesterday for our kickoff event. But with that out of the way, actually, speaking of incentives, aside from a silly poem I wrote about an angsty trust fund burnout kid, what else can we get to raise money for trans rights? Well, use exclamation point incentives in chat to get a good look at the things we're raffling off. One of them is an art giveaway by Nala Draws on Twitter. That's NALADRAWS on Twitter. If you donate $20 or more to our Tiltify campaign, and you also like, reply, and retweet Nala's specific tweet, then you will be automatically entered into an art giveaway by them. They're extremely talented, of a colored portrait of your choice. You can get some original art done of your TTRPG TTRPG OC. That sounds like incredible bang for your buck, and it's all supporting a great cause, everyone. So that is one of the incentives we have. Another incentive we have, you don't even have to give money at all. You just have to give us your views. You just have to give us your presence in chat. It is a giveaway of Strixhaven, the Strixhaven module on Roll20. If you use Roll20 and you like to be a gay wizards on an IP that is not horribly transphobic, right? Type a hashtag AWOO in chat, AWOO, to be entered in a Strixhaven Roll20 giveaway that we are hosting right now and will announce the winner of by the end of this stream. So to qualify and to claim your prize, you gotta watch the whole thing, my friends. But your lurk and active viewership is very, very much welcome, encouraged, and appreciated. More announcements before we get started. Tomorrow is when we start fundraising for Ukrainian relief, starting with, as you can see, on Sunday, March 20th, 12 p.m. Eastern time, code names with the team over at Dicey Amazons. So right at noon Eastern, hop into Dicey Amazons on Twitch and help raise money starting at 0 for Ukrainian relief. And like I mentioned earlier, after the stream ends today, I'm passing the torch along to Utopia for, this is super fucking exciting, y'all. I've never seen this done before, and it's really, really, really exciting. A TTRPG stream raffle, I believe doing a song raffle, unless I am gravely mistaken. I believe that's what's happening at Utopia after stream. The folks at Sigfigs Collective, I believe they are a fan band for Dimension 20. They're going to be lending their musical talents to make a song about your TTRPG OC, and all, I think, $25 and above donations, not 20, 25 for the song, will count toward that as well if you've been donating all throughout this event so far. So tune in for the raid at the end of this stream if you're interested in seeing whose name gets drawn for the song raffle at Utopia. Let's see. Oh, yes. Nala has opened a second commission slot at $888. So if we hit $888, then 2 winners will be drawn and everyone's chances effectively double. So give money. Let's get to 888. That would be amazing. And make sure again to like and retweet Nala's pinned tweet in order to be entered in addition to giving $20 or above. I apologize for the captions glitching out. Google Captions says, I hate you, Connie, and I hate you too, Google Captions. Why can't you be free? Why don't you answer me that, billion-dollar company? But I'm getting off track here. Let's get started. We are at $729.69. What a great way to start the stream. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm going to pause to allow my producer a chance to yell at me if I'm missing anything. Hurry up is what they say. So I will hurry up. Love you all so much. Enjoy the stream and enter Strixhaven, and I'll see you on the other side. Life is pain. Oblivion alone yields peace. You call me stranger. I call myself salvation.
The love of a god is not a blessing, it's a scar.
How can I be the paragon of Mahu if I don't even know who I am?
There's gotta be more to life than making mistakes and making up for your mistakes.
I'm the paragon of risk and reward, behaving as more of a suggestion.
Fate is an offer I intend to reject.
You don't know me. I'm unpredictable, bitch.
I don't need to be a paragon to help save the world.
I came back for a reason, and I am not stopping until I find it.
I will solve the cataclysm, and I'll solve the mystery of myself, too. 4 paragons, 4 keepers, 1 stranger. Huh. Odds are in our favor. Now let's go save Andake.
Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, apocalypse, blood and bloodletting, complex and complicated relationships, cults and cult-like behaviors, curses, loss of limbs, and death of loved ones.
Hello, everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome to Arc 5, Episode 9 of Transplanar RPG's main D&D campaign, The Second Stranger. I am your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I am freshly chopped. My tits are gone. This is the first time I'm recording top surgery-wise. Yay, I'm so excited. Shirts are going to show that off. I am by Connie Chong on all the social medias. That's TikTok, Twitter, and Itch. And Ko-Fi, BYCONNICHANG, pronounced they, he, and she. You can I've got to pass along introductions up and over to Quinn.
Hi, hello, my name is Quinn at Quintastic_ on Twitter. My pronouns are they, she, and I play Sitlali has never done anything wrong in their life, Thornheart, who also uses they, she pronouns.
We know you've never done a thing wrong, and we love you, despite your lies. Hi, everyone, I'm Dare. She, they pronouns, and Faye, Fair, Neo ones are all great. I'm playing Gentle, they, them, Triton, Monk. They're just here to help, and that's nothing can backfire from trying to help everyone at once, right? Anyway, we're going to throw it to the real problem today, Humna.
Excuse you? Okay. I'm Humna. I use any and all pronouns, and I'm a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_. And today I will be playing John Godler, who uses they, he pronouns. And yeah, he is the problem today. Okay, I can't really argue that. I'm just gonna pass it up top to C.
Hi, everyone. My name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a dancer, digital artist, tabletop streamer. You can find me anywhere on the internet at PieSharpArt, making very trans, very gay art. I am playing Okahyen today, target of assassination's boyfriend killer. We'll see. That's it, Connie. That's all I have to say about it.
Great, wonderful. So hey, if you're tuning in, thanks for tuning in. You're watching Transplanar RPG, The Second Stranger, which is an all transgender, people of color led, 100% homebrew Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live streamed actual play campaign set in Andake, an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. We are a grim, dark, gritty fantasy campaign, so do be warned for that. Before I get a little too ahead of myself, I do want to announce very proudly that this episode of The Second Stranger is indeed sponsored by @DimitriOpines on Twitter. That is @DMITRYOPINES on Twitter, and his company Explain Trade, which is a negotiation skills training consultancy believing in the power of D&D and Transplanar's potential to grow, tell great stories, and lift up our community. Explain Trade, if you don't know what that means, trains negotiators for governments, big companies, NGOs, and offers e-learning courses for individuals looking to get a better deal from their boss. If that sounds like you, level up your charisma score and check them out at explaintrade.com. And speaking of ways to support us, C, would you like to tell folks about our Patreon and our podcast?
Absolutely, you know I do. It's my favorite thing to do. Although I think Austin does it in a really cute way on the other team, so it's cute. Our podcast episodes, by the by, release every Tuesday at the ass crack of dawn. We are deep in the carnival now, darlings. So go find your favorite murder bard and leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbeans, wherever you pod your casts. It really, really does help us. And you can join our Patreon if you're interested in supporting us in different ways. Patrons get early access to podcast episodes, bonus content, access to ARC booklets that will be coming out soon, monthly gaming nights, special secret playlists, and their liner notes, stuff like that, cast Q&As. It's really great. So join us on Patreon. Use !Patreon in the chat if you'd like to join our super secret club. And with that, I'll pass it to Connie for thank you.
Yes, speaking of secret members of our secret club, a huge thank you and big shout out to our Patreon paragons. These are patrons pledged to our highest tier on Patreon. So thank you so much to Abigail Reitel, Azura, Brooke Bright, Charles, Chiacres, Cora Eckert, Lex Slater, Marvelous Mitzi, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, Scruffusis, and Target. Here's a haiku for you that, oh my God, I forgot to write, so I'm going to do it off the dome again. 575 about this episode. Chrysalis attack. Adam has a god complex. Who is gonna win? There we go. So with that out of the way, I'm going to pass along support things over to Dare. Tell us more about how you can throw money at us.
He's really good at this. Anyway, we have a donation goal and incentives for this stream. Donos are going towards super fun bonus scenes. And if we hit our goal, we'll unlock a very gay secret backstory scene. Use the exclamation point donate command in chat to support our all trans POC-led cast and keep this incredibly chaotic queer content alive. I'm going to pass it on to Quinn with a recap.
Strap in, babies. Previously on The Second Stranger, Sitlali has a successful date. On their way home, she is goaded into an alley to meet Adam, who promptly fucks up their night by revealing her familial name, eating their changeling magic, and tossing her into the nothing plane, you know, Thursdays. There, Sitlali meets Old Mama Lightning, who has the god shards of Suraksha and Thristy, the other two heads of Vinash. Meanwhile, the hounds infiltrate the Chrysalis conference, like normal people would. Mercy and Gentle grab some grub and discuss code names to varying effects. Jiran and Ravi sneak backstage. Oka entreats Vinash and forces open their own portal into the nothing plane, but it's too late. The main event begins, and Adam gets on stage and brings Sitlali and Old Mama Lightning back into the now. Backstage, Jiran and Ravi are at odds since our beloved Dragon Boy has decided that they're going to let Old Mama Lightning die and he can't let Ravi save her. So using mimicry of Adam's voice, Jiran entreats an empty monster to keep Ravi busy. Normal. Meanwhile, the battle on stage is running full tilt. Mercy gets a sick ride, through a fog cloud. Gentle and Oka punch Adam, thank gods. And Sitlali harms the fuck out of their new nemesis. In the midst of the battle, Jiran accidentally gives an order in Adam's voice and kills Ravi. Yay. Adam takes advantage of the situation and summons the Chrysalis. Normal, just silly, goofy mood, and that's what you missed last time. And I'll throw it to Hamna about the title.
I was muted. I just realized as well that in the Kirtal party, Max is the one who does the titles. Fun! Godjar LLC does titles together. Okay, anyway, so the title of our episodes come from lines of poetry written by marginalized creators of all stripes, and today's episode is called Rabidly Devoted to Meaning, from the poem A Table Filled with Interest by Anne Gorick. And the full verse reads as follows. What is the verb form of architect? What is the evolved form of archon? What is the body form of archaebacteria? Archimedes schnapps, wolf spiders, grannies, synonyms rabidly devoted to meaning.
Thank you, Godjar LLC, one half of the partnership. And now moving into the episode itself, some content warnings for our campaign in this episode in particular may include fantasy, violence, body horror, gore, death and killing, apocalypse, blood and bloodletting, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, romance and flirting, references to sexual entanglements, cults and cult-like behaviors, curses, and death of loved ones. So use !CW in chat for a full list of content warnings and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils, so you know what content we'll never traverse into no matter how dark things get. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Birth is relative. Sprang you, hirsute and flawless, smeared in the entrails of non-creation, you, white and bloodied, silken feathers stuck together like death row, you, all mass and entropy, wings sealed shut in swollen, bleeding rapture, sliding across the glass tile of the laboratory. Quills, prickled hooklets stiff, the empty breath of mother's blood gasping through your veins. Oblivion's little miracle. Crinite and crawling, folding in on yourself like a fractal, an implosion, a bad hand. You learned the names for your own anatomy, humerus, radius, ulna, no shoulder to connect to, no terminal, destination just humerus, radius, ulna, gory feathers drooping like tired eyelids off the blaze of your scapulae. Suspended in the viscid gel of non-creation, you metastasized yourself a body. And now, the never cracked open like an epiphany before you, you crawl wing over wing into reality. Oka, Jiran, Sitlali, and Gentle The necrotizing schism above Adam's head bristles with a mouthful of feathers. Dozens and hundreds and thousands of bone-white feathers ripple to the surface of this wound gashed open through the flesh of the now. The Chrysalis has no face, no eyes, no blood, no head, no limbs, no body. Just a teeming, writhing prism of wings folded over and over and over each other in a perverse tessellation of mutated godhood. A force field of vacuous energy emanates from its bodiless form. A wing unfurls from its central mass, reaches forward, tethers 100 feathers on the edge of this portal. And where this wing breaches into your reality, you see the very air around its feather tips quiver. You feel the weave tense and groan and gasp under intense magical duress, and colors, maroon, cerulean, periwinkle, green, pop and blitz and sour around this wing, and then sounds erupt. A woman's laugh, the wail of a baby, the beating of a drum, and then smells, pine needles, smoke, salt, and then all of these sensations, all of these experiences, these existences, these miniature windows into reality hemorrhage into each other in a synesthetic cacophony of sight, sound, smell, maroon, smoke, wailing, green, pine, blue, laughter before. Just like that, it's all gone. And all of you see existence itself unravel and decay where this thing connects with the now. It's like watching a piece of reality cut itself out of existence. Where this wing grazes the air, it leaves little rippling black holes behind. Places that trap light and breath and thought, like pits of black tar. Dribbling with blood, emerald suit gleaming in the dusky light, Adam throws his pale throat back and just laughs. Behold, the Chrysalis. Roll initiative. I like that we could hear you scream through my mic. See?
It sounded like a cat screeching. I got a 12, by the way.
Okay.
I got a 9.
I got a 25.
26.
Okay, let me just write this down. So, first to act is gonna be Sitlali. Sitlali, if I recall correctly, the obsidian crystals of protection from Sriracha that had sort of rhymed in a helpful cocoon around you have tessellated downward and revealed you, right? That's how you were able to cast harm. That's how you're able to do all this stuff. So pretty much right above your head, all this shit is happening. Ravi's dead, ensmeared in a puddle of her own blood, and this like empty goo sloughing off of her extremely bloodied, wounded body. Oka crouched over her, Mercy as well. Duran sort of maybe like shell-shocked on the stage. What do you do?
I look up at the monstrosity trying to come into the now, and I say, abso-fucking-lutely not. And I cast Banishment at 6th level.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How does that work?
At 6th level, I can do more than one creature, so I'm also trying to banish Adam. Both the Chrysalis and Adam have to roll a charisma saving throw against an 18.
What happens if they fail?
Let's see. If the target is native to a different plane of existence than the one we're on, which I assume it is, the target is banished with a faint popping noise returning to its home plane, and then I have to hold the spell for a minute to make sure it stays gone.
I'm just gonna rule that faint popping noise is kind of underwhelming, so that's not gonna be what happens. Boop, gone. No, so they succeeded, both of them succeeded, but here's what I'm gonna do. Because you are casting it at 6th level, I'll ask for concentration checks over the duration of a minute of this combat. And if Sitlali can mount each of these checks, then by the end of, let's say, a round or two, they'll both be banished. But you're gonna have to hit the DC every time with that check. So I'm gonna ask you to make an Arcana or a spell casting check. with all of your spellcasting modifiers, like you're making an attack roll.
Well, that's a natural 20. It's not fucking staying, Connie, I'm sorry. So 20 plus my spell attack bonus is 10, so 30. Do I add anything else?
No. So with a nat 20 or a 30, I think that counts for multiple successes. So you only have to get like one more other success other than this, right? Like when we loop back to the top of your turn again, I think. So yeah, tell me what it looks like as you begin to banish this thing.
I think Sitlali drops their cane, drops to their knees, and just starts drawing a sigil on the stage. And I think their finger hovers over the wood and it just burns itself into the wood. And like their hand is shaking a little bit with rage because there's a lot of sacrilege and terrible things happening and we don't like it.
I love that. As they draw this, as the sigil burns itself, like etching like an arcane circumference of a rot and fire over the wood of the stage, you see like the wing that sort of breached into the now, like the feather tips sort of start to ruffle, like, and you see, I think maybe like beams of black light that feel connected to the magic beaming out of your soul, like weathering along the weave, shooting toward this thing. Pillars of black light begin erupting between its feather tips, and where it erupts, it sort of sizzles it away, like back into the empty plane, right? Like almost like threads of a puppet master are pulling it back. I think you begin to sweat, like almost immediately. Like your heart is pumping, sweat is drooling down the sides of your like neck, dribbling like puddle, like all over the sigil that you're burning in. And it's taking like every ounce of concentration for you, Sitlali, to prevent this thing from broaching into the now even more.
And that's my turn.
Okay, that's a pretty damn good turn. Yeah, it's like seeing like a massive puddle of like 1,000 different fish trying to like break through a fisherman's net that Sitlali's holding back. And a couple of the fish might pop through, but like the mass of it is like being kept by this web, right, that Sitlali's created. Yeah, that's sort of how it feels. We're gonna go now over to Gentle.
Just for a general like noise check, how loud is everything around me?
It is deathly silent. Where this thing emerges from, like that force field of inertia that I described earlier, where it sort of, I think maybe it hits you. It's like everything washes out. Like you're in a barrel in sand or something. Like you're just inside like a cavern and there's nothing around you.
Bad. I think Gentle currently is just overwhelmed by like the sheer weight of that silence. I think I can hear my heart beating with each, like, as I'm looking between every scene around me. And I think the only thing I can think to do is fly towards the Chrysalis and just start hitting it to hopefully like try to just stop it from going out.
Okay.
Just flying into it Superman style.
You launch yourself into the air, and when you are within 15 feet of it, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh boy. Cool. Oh, I forgot I reset level where I have all saving throws. Great, because that's a 21.
That is not sufficient.
No!
So, as you enter its radius of force, let's say its radius of presence and influence, it's sort of like you've passed over, like you break the sound barrier almost, like a wave washes over you, and Gentle, you feel your body like vibrate a little, like the particles that comprise Gentle begin to shift. So why don't you tell me, how does the Chrysalis's influence change your body?
I don't know what those words mean in that order.
I can also put it this way, what part of you mutates?
Oh no. Gosh, I think like some of the, like being a Triton, I think some of my skin is at least a little like scaled, at least the hard parts of scale. I think that might mutate. Oh no.
I think as we see like Gentle dive forward, right, just flying through the air like almost like a pin needle rupturing jelly, like as you fly into its sphere of influence, we see like your skin like ripple, and around your gills, and I think like around like the sides of your face, we see like the skin flake into stone. Like you're becoming like it just sort of like ripples into marble, and we see like blue veins shot through the marble. As suddenly, Gentle, the top part of your body above your torso feels very heavy, as the stone continues to rime itself down. So like you're like the stone, like the closer you get to this thing, the heavier its influence becomes on your body, and like the heavier your body feels. But I'm not gonna have you take like the petrified state or anything like that.
Cool. Does the punch still happen?
Yeah. So make your attack rolls.
My hands are now stone, which legally means they should do more damage if they hit, right? Oh boy, I'm throwing 4 punches. Oh boy. Okay, I got one nat 20 in there already. I can tell you that for free. So these hits are 14, 20, 21, nat 20.
So only the nat 20 hits of those, but you can roll damage for up to all 4 of them if you want, if it gets to store a reaction.
What I'm going to do is spend some extra key points to do focused aim. I'm going to spend 3 to turn that 21 into a 27 to hit.
Oh, it just misses. Oh, a 27 just misses.
Okay, good to know.
But now you know. But now you know. Now you know.
I'm not taking any extra reaction from you.
Okay, so you're just letting one of them hit the nat 20?
Yep.
Okay,
it's
sounds
a nat
good.
20.
Sounds good. So roll damage from it.
That one will also be my hand of harm one, since I did throw a fucking fuck ton of blows. I'm in panic. How do you do damage again for nat 20s?
Oh, you can take max damage and roll again, or you can roll double dice and get a narrative boon.
Double dice and narrative boon. Always.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
For everyone else.
Why don't we roll dice first and figure out the boon later?
Okay, so that's 42.
Whoa, 42 total. That's
Yes.
a good amount of damage. So, Gentle, paint us a word picture. Okay.
I think it is literally like I was already flying at full momentum. My movement speed is up to 55. So I was flying at it no matter what. And I'm just going to kind of just let momentum take the lead. And as I have slightly petrified, I'm like, well, this hand's a bit more stone than the other, and leading with just one big old hit, honestly.
Yeah, like a One Punch Man situation.
Exactly.
And like we see your fists like ripple around with like almost like fire from like the force with which you're like throwing it, and it collides with that like wing that's like broached into the now, and just like explodes, like feathers, like downy feathers poof up and explode outward, and you feel like bone? You don't know, not bone. Splinter underneath the force of your punch, which is also laced with like blue marble and stone that's like rippling its way up your forearm, Gentle. So as you're in the air punching this thing in one of its thousands of wings, what's your narrative boon?
I want to mess with that. I mean, pushing it back is an idea. That or just weakening the effect of that influence, just so it doesn't affect maybe somebody like Oka who also is flying up here. I hope.
Ooh, I really like that. So if we want to go with the second one, because Sitlali's doing a damn good job, I think, currently holding it back and trying to put it back. Let's say that like the trail you cut through its sphere of influence, sort of almost like a jet streaking through the air. It sort of like opens up like a wide triangle behind you, and like a curtain of reality, I think, opens up behind Gentle from where they like forge forward and punch and shatter. So there's like a pocket of like an opportunity that other combatants can sneak into without taking the negative effects of its influence. But I think it's only big enough to admit like one other person in, right? Like after Gentle punches. Does that work for your narrative boon, Gentle?
That's perfect.
Yeah, like you're forging like a path forward and parting the Red Sea, so to speak, like behind you. As Gentle, half marbleized, punching the shit out of this like one wing of the Chrysalis, we are gonna go over now to Jiran.
Jiran is not quite sure what to do, I think, in this moment, because they're standing there over Ravi's body as Oka is cradling her, and he starts backing up, I think, saying like, wasn't supposed to be her. It wasn't supposed to be her. And as he's backing up, I think like he thunks against Old Mama Lightning's crystal that has been formed. And it kind of like brings him back into this moment. Wasn't supposed to be her, it was supposed, and he like turns around. It was supposed to be you! And with the dagger in his hand, I think he starts with the blunt end, like trying to crack open this crystal that is surrounding Old Mama Lightning. Just like hammering at it as hard as he can.
Have inspiration. As grief, rage, regret, like maybe all these emotions as they swirl around you, shock perhaps at the forefront, you whirl around and you be like your fist comes down, dagger hilt in hand. We all see these like I think like black veins like ripple themselves like up the arm that you're using to punch Old Mama Lightning's crystal with. And your punches are gonna have advantage as whatever empty bargain you brokered with Adam is coming to take its final due here. So why don't you make a stabby stab attack roll?
Okay.
With advantage.
That advantage gave me a nat 20. So it's a 20. It's a 29 total, but.
Sraksha's crystal is obsidian, but veins of a darker black crack outward from the point of contact of your dagger, finding like that weakness in the armor that the dagger slips through and like pure oblivion void black tendrils of cracks spiderweb outward and form a tiny little window into where Old Mama Lightning is hiding. And I think you see like your eyes like wide with like rage, just like stabbing, like trying to widen this crack. You see Old Mama Lightning inside, like standing, like looking at you from behind this like thick pane of black glass. You see her mismatched eyes, right, with like flecks of gold and black inside them. You see this old woman, like her form sort of hobbled over. She's like leaning on a cane, like head cocked, staring at you, wide-eyed, looking between the battle. Jiran, what do you say to her, if anything?
Make this better. It was supposed to be you, so make this better. Fix it.
It was supposed to be me, young man? To die? Well, yes, I suppose it is. All of us paragons are supposed to die for Andake, aren't we?
So then die now for Andake. For the other paragons.
The time is not quite right, and it appears perhaps you are not in your right mind, young man.
You don't know anything about me. But if you care about Andake, if you care about making things right, then do it now.
I care about Dabathati, young man, and my family. Do you? And her eyes fall upon Oka, who's crouched over Ravi's body.
Jiran's eyes follow Old Mama Lightning's. I do. That's why.
I'm sorry, young man, but I don't intend to die here. Not like this, and not now. And like the crack like seals itself back up, and you see, I think, gold veins, and you feel like the humming, radiant warmth of Thristi pulsate upward, like begin to rib themselves through the crystal. Go ahead, Jiran.
While it's going up, Jiran is going to shove his hand with the dagger inside of the crystal.
Okay. Are you like trying to grab her or like stab her with it? Make one more attack roll with advantage to stab her with this like insta-kill dagger. Yeah, go for it.
19. Sorry, unnatural 20.
Okay. Where are you trying to stab her?
I don't think Jiran has the ability to properly like pick a spot and aim right now, so it's just more of like a wild shot in the dark, wherever he'll make purchase.
Jiran, Your arm pierces through Siraksha's crystal, right? Like, I think it's like twitching and like convulsing a little bit, like under like the black veins empowering your every move, your every strike. And you see just sort of like these obsidian veins have turned your arm almost completely charred black, right? And Kane's dagger thrusts forward, the blade slick with empty magic, just this enervating like void empty weave. And it spears old Mama Lightning, I think, through the shoulder, right? A couple inches north of the heart. And she staggers backward, and like lets out like a groan, turns around and like makes a really hard gesture with her other hand, and the crystal cracks shut, and cuts your arm off. And I think there's just like a spray and a gush of blood, and Jirani, you suddenly feel very lightheaded. And there's like an explosion of like, just like, it's really sharp at first and then just really dull and hitting you in waves of pain from your, you tell me, left or right arm?
Jiran is right-handed, so.
From your right arm, that has now been severed. And I just see these gold veins continuing to rib themselves up like through the black crystal, now flecked red with your own blood.
I think that's my turn.
Okay, and on that, next up is going to be Oka.
Okay. Well, after all that, Oka has been, I think, sitting on the stage with Ravi's head cradled in their lap. They like hear the noise, they like hear the screams, hear the unbearable silence rolling over this place. They lean down, close Ravi's eyes, take both of her cheeks in their hands, kiss her forehead. And when their face pulls back, there's just like the tiniest bit of blood smeared from their lips left on her forehead. And they shift out from underneath her, like gently, like let her head come back down to the ground. They turn away, and I assume that Jiran is maybe like on the ground bleeding. Oka assesses the situation and starts walking towards Sitlali, and I think they have to go past Jiran to do that. And they pause, I think, in front of his body. Oka looks down and steps over you. And as Oka steps over you, the blood, I think, that's beginning to pool out of your body starts to harden and twist into these rope-like tethers. And I need you to make a strength saving throw. As Oka uses their blood curse of binding on you.
Can I just say, though, can I just say it fails? Because I don't know that Jiran is in a place to fight back.
Yeah, if you don't resist, then it works, I think. And I'll let you choose the effects because I don't want to do like PvP against, but spell as written, your speed is 0 and you can't use reactions. And I think this like blood rope, like your own blood, starts to tether around you and like tighten and hold you in place. It also staunches the bleeding out of your arm, I think, so you're not bleeding out anymore. It like tightens around kind of like a tourniquet. And without looking down at you, Oka goes, "I'll deal with you later." And walks toward Sitlali, who's like doing this banishment ritual. And where the fuck is Adam, Connie?
Adam spent the first 2 turns to just laugh. Maybe. He is enjoying this. He is loving this. He's basking in this. This is giving him life. But right now, Oka, you see him amidst all the chaos. He has sort of, yet again, slipped away, I think, from everyone's perception. He has turned around from his spot in the middle of the stage and is in the process of walking very calmly over to Sitlali, who's on the ground hovering over their own sigil.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get in there real fast. Oka, I think, is almost like gonna walk just as calmly, right? And is gonna like catch his gaze so that he knows that they know where he is.
As the two of you, maybe like you step calmly like between Adam and Sitlali, equilateral distance away, right? Sitlali, who's just dripping like sweat, and I think a couple of rivulets of like maybe like blood from like the intense force of holding this world-ending entity back, right? Like it's just them. They're like sort of heaving like over this sigil, and it's you, and it's Adam, and it's just a wind tunnel of perfect silence swirling around both of you, like a fucking like Western standoff, right? Like as like Adam comes to a halt and like you step in front of Adam, like maybe like 10-15 feet away from each other, and he like his shirt is still torn, he's a little bloodied, pockmarked with wounds from your party's assault on him, right, like earlier before he summoned the Chrysalis, but he looks alive. His face is electric. And his blue eyes, I think, drill into your own. And he just goes, oh, Paragon of Sen, hero of Dabathati. You know, we at the Chrysalis, we owe your party a life debt for elevating our reputation in the eyes of the capital.
Then a life debt I will fucking claim. And I'm gonna attack the shit out of this guy.
Okay, are you using Dream Hunter?
I am using Dream Hunter, yeah.
Okay.
But first, I think, Oka, as they pass Sitlali, right? Do what you need to do. I'll cover you. And they launch themselves at Adam.
Okay.
They launch themselves at Adam, and I would like to use my first 4th level spell slot to cast Polymorph on myself. As Oka's face distends, their hands grow sharp and like clawed, and their their teeth grow, and their face turns into that almost like halfway between a person and a Tselian, as they are just going to rip him apart with their hands.
Wow. Okay. Make a claw attack. make an attack roll.
Ooh, let's go. That is a 24 to hit. The first attack.
Okay. That misses his AC. But you can choose to hit him if you want. He's pretty fucked up. He took a lot of damage.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so roll damage.
26 points of damage total.
Yikezoid. Where are you like ripping into him with your claws?
Chest first.
Yeah, you just launch yourself, like your face snarled, like scales flecking away at like your like a maw that's forming, but like half formed, right? And like I think like horns just sort of like bulge out of your forehead and like crest and rake backward, like past like your hair that's starting to like elongate and like turn like poof up into fur, right? And as you like launch yourself forward, like he steps back, tries to avoid you, right? But I think you swing around and you just slash him up, right? Like in the chest, like you rip his tie off, right? Like you like rip his jacket open, like you rip his like perfectly pressed collared like shirt open, and you just rake your claws like across his front. You really fuck him up. And Adam, as he's getting, you know, fucked up and sundered by you, he just goes, ugh. Oh my, well, your party certainly can pack a punch, can't they? And he sort of like swipes upward at like the blood on his torso and like licks it like off of like his palm.
That's my shit. I'm not dating this man with any responses beyond like getting him to the ground.
Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn, Jam. Thank you.
Yes, Oka is embroiled in claw-to-claw combat with Adam in the middle of the stage protecting Sitlali. And I think we just see the two of you exchange blows, like he's like dodging you as you like launch forward and slash at him. And we're gonna like pan across this expanse over to Mercy, who is knelt over the body of one of her exes and her best friend, pockmarked with wounds and blood. You know, Ravi's eyes closed from Oka, and Mercy's like broad shoulders, we just see her from behind, are just like heaving, like shuddering with sobs, right? And like her hair has like fallen in front of her face. I think her ponytail's come undone in all this chaos, and it's just like fallen in like a crimson cascade around her eyes, her face like plastered to her skin with tears. Like there's like an almighty shudder, like an inhale of breath, an exhalation, and we just sort of see her like get up onto one knee, and then she reaches behind like her back, and like unsheaths like the greatsword that's like strapped to her back and like drives the point into the wood, cracking it, splintering it, right? Chunks of wood go flying, and she uses the hilt of her greatsword to brace as she stands up to her full height, right? When she turns around, her face is wet and streaked with her tears, but she's not crying anymore. Not even like sparing like a glance at Jiran, who's tangled up in his own blood, right? Tourniquet made of like his own crimson life force, like staunching the wound of his right stump. She turns around and like stands in the middle of like the airway that was made by Gentle. And Gentle's still in midair, like punching the shit out of this wing. And Mercy is just gonna run forward and launch herself into the air, like through the passageway created by Gentle. And letting out a roar, she like whips her like buster blade around and just like sort of like slams it down, right? Like on the wing that Gentle was already pummeling at, right? She like jumps straight up into the air and just slashes it. Oh my god, she actually hits. She rolled a natural 19, so that's actually gonna hit. So her blade like slices through the wing, right? That was already cracked and kind of crumpled and broken and twisted and like bent in many directions from Gentle's pummeling, and slashes like the feather tips off. And where it like comes off, the wings just disintegrate into dust when it's severed from the central mass, right? And Mercy just lets out like a wordless roar, like whirls through the air and like turns around and whips to like slash at it again. That's gonna be Mercy's turn. And now we're gonna go to Old Mama Lightning. Old Mama Lightning, this entire time, these golden veins have sort of been like webbing themselves up Sriracha, and at this point, the crystal has turned from black to pure gold. There is a burst of like divine energy that just explodes outward from that side of the stage, like whips across like the entire battlefield, ruffling all of your hair. You know, Sitlali, like it's nice to get like a cool breeze against like the blood sweat running down your face. Like Gentle, like the cold marble gets like pummeled by this air. Like Jiran, like your own blood is like whipped off to the side. And Oka, like in the midst of like brawling with Adam, like both of you are buffeted by this gust of like divine might. As the golden crystal now unfolds like a lotus petal, just with like petals coming down, and stepping forward out of her cocoon into the fray is Old Mama Lightning. And we see, I mean, it's an interesting question, right? What does half of a realized paragon look like? I think we see Old Mama Lightning half transformed into her paragon form. She's like almost like a halo of like energy is radiating out from her, like she's like glowing celestial. And we see two spikes, one on the left and one on the right, have sort of like appeared, almost like hard light constructs on her forehead. One is golden, one is black, and there's a missing spike in the center. And both spikes are digging into her forehead and causing her to bleed down her face. So her entire face, like both sides of her like face, there's like the middle part is unblemished, are like just covered in crimson blood dribbling down her front. And like the both like spikes are like sparking with black and red, like gold lightning on either end, right? She steps forward and, speaking with like a multi-layered voice with Thristi and Sriracha's voice, like tingling like bells underneath her own. Oka, you in particular hear Old Mama Lightning say, directed to you, Vinash, it's time to come home. And Oka, Vinash within you explodes outward, like speaks through your throat. No! Vinash, please. It's been too long. I've searched for you for months. Sriracha and Thristi said you were in the Godspine, you were in Dabathati after I found them out in the desert, out in the scrublands. But you weren't there. You're with the wrong Paragon, Vinash. We need you. With your force, we can destroy the Chrysalis and pay them back for everything they've taken from us. Vinash, come home. And Oka, what does Vinash say next?
I made this
my home when you left me. This vessel is mine now.
Vinash, this is not the way. This is not what destiny has in store for you, for all of us.
What if I don't want it? I'll burn it down instead.
And exploding off of like Oka's skin is like massive strobes of like red lightning that go haywire. Like one sparks off to the left and like spears a chunk of the stage like off. Wood explodes outward and like tumbles down the marble steps, right? And like another one goes haywire, like zaps a marble pillar, right? Takes a chunk off of a pillar. And I think like storm begins to billow outward from like Oka's body, like whipping like wind and thunder and lightning all around, right? Colliding with like the black and gold gusts coming off of Old Mama Lightning as Vinash refuses to enter Old Mama Lightning's soul. And in the midst of this confrontation, that is all of the allies' turns. Now we're gonna go to Adam. Distracted as you are, Oka, by Vinash seizing you, I need you to make like a soundness of mind check to see if you notice what's happening with Adam. I guess that would be a perception check with disadvantage.
11.
Not sufficient. You are... I think everything is just storm and lightning and rage, right? And like electricity just like jettisoning your soul and like rapidly going through your body. Like your nervous system feels like it's on fire. Adam, ever the slippery shadow, sort of just sidesteps you, right? Adjusts like the remaining knot of his tie from what's like not severed, like around his collar, smooths down the blood, and steps away like calmly from where Oka and Old Mama Lightning are confronting each other. And Sitlali, all around you, even though there's noise, there's also silence. It's odd. It's like you're inside this little bubble, and you know there's like a storm going on around you, but you're inside this little bubble, and you are just purely focused. I don't like you are in the zone. Like you are focused on like just banishing this thing, and you've never been so attuned to a single task, I think, before, probably in your life. And I don't know if that's a stretch to say. Breaking you out of this focus is a voice. A familiar, oily, slippery, shadowy, dark voice that just goes, "What you are doing is quite impressive, Sitlali, Thornheart. Keeping the Chrysalis at bay by yourself, perhaps I did underestimate you." And sort of like kneeling down in front of you, his face swimming into view, is Adam. It's not
Sitlali
too...
spits in his face.
I think you interrupt him as he was talking, actually. You just spit in his face. And the spit like gets in his eye and like sort of dribbles down his cheek. And he sort of like wipes it off with his thumb. I was going to say, darling, it's not too late to switch sides. We could use a new speaker of the Chrysalis. You feel its power, don't you? You know you can't hold it back for much longer. Your fight here is lost. Vinash refuses to enter his proper vessel. The Paragons are a mess. And you are not the type to bet on losing dogs, Thornheart.
You don't know shit about me.
Is that a no?
Get the fuck away from me.
That's a shame. And Adam slips a knife between your ribs. Just slides it in gently, tucks it in like a love note underneath someone's pillow. And I need you to just make like a concentration check, I think.
Because I rolled a natural 19.
Okay, that's sufficient.
Okay.
That's sufficient to keep the spell going. Adam's right in front of you, has this knife tucked between your ribs. Like you could feel your own blood like trickle outward. It hurts, but you're focused on the spell. And it's the top of your turn, Sitlali. I just need you to make, like I said, because you saved the concentration check. You got a natural 20 on your spellcasting check, just one more. DC's really low from all these successes. One more spellcasting check to banish this thing.
Yeah, so that's 28.
That is sufficient.
Cool.
So, Sitlali, tell me what it looks like as you push this thing back into the empty.
I think Sitlali feels the blade go in, kind of cocks their head to the side in like curiosity, and their eyes flick up and meet Adam's, and they say, "You're right. I don't bet on losing dogs." And then they slam their hand into the sigil and push the Chrysalis back.
Yes, it's like that net just, like with a massive like force wave of magic emanating from Sitlali, it pulls. You see all the feathers like gentle from where you and Mercy are swinging and punching at it. You see like the rest of the wings like ripple backward and recede, like tumbling through the air, almost like they're retracing their steps and someone pressed like rewind on a tape. Like they just like rewind and get sucked back into the blackness of the nothing plane and sink underneath this like serration into the now and dip out of sight. And that horrible, ominous presence, that seeping entropy, that nothing force field also recedes, and it feels like all of you can like breathe again, and like you hear sound now, like this like dome of silence, like pops, right, like a lancet going through like a bubble just pops, and you can all hear each other screaming. You can hear like the zaps coming off of Oka's body, like the whirling storm clouds coming off of Old Mama Lightning's shoulders, and Adam's snarling face, I think, like right in front of you, Sitlali. It's still your turn. That doesn't take an action or anything. That was just a check I asked for. What do you do?
Sitlali pushes himself, I think, closer and a little bit further onto his blade. And maintaining eye contact, doesn't even look up to make sure it works because she's good. You should be a little more mindful when you act next time. And with one hand, she's gonna reach up and grab him by the hair and cast Inflict Wounds at 3rd level.
Okay, how does that work? Do I make a save?
No, it's a spell attack.
Cool.
That's a natural 20.
Bruh. Okay, narrative boon or max or full damage?
Oh, narrative boon.
Okay.
34, 35, 36, 37 points of necrotic damage.
And that's double dice.
Oh no, that was only the first time.
I shouldn't have asked.
Sorry, let me do it again. 44, 45, 46. So 46 plus whatever I said before.
Okay, that's a lot of damage.
Uh-huh.
What does it look like, and what is your narrative boon?
Sitlali grabs hold of his face, like by the hair, and I think just tugs him down, like to the ground as they also, like, kind of collapse in on themselves from how exhausting that spell was.
You grab him by the roots of his scalp, and you tug him down. Both of you collapse onto this like ruptured stage as the Chrysalis gets like flung back into the nothing plane, and Adam lets out this like extremely frustrated groan. Maybe not like you're hurting him for sure, but you get the feeling that it's less about what you're grabbing onto him about and more about the fact that you were able to banish the Chrysalis. Right? He like looks up at you and he just goes and you see like where you're holding onto his like hair is beginning to gray and wither and peel off, right, from like where you're inflicting these wounds, like veins of like scars are like opening on his cheek. This isn't over, Sitlali. I'll see you again, I'm sure.
I'd like to tear out some of his hair.
You do. You rip off some of his hair, and he lets out sort of like a groan, as he sort of discorporates into dust, into black dust, just and gets sucked through the portal. Like his bat, like everything, like he got fucking dusted, like he just turns into like black dusty mist, and just like underneath, like the only tangible part of Adam that's left is this like clump of hair that you've held onto, I think. And like I think the little bit of his tie that's left just sort of like falls off, like off the neck and onto the ground, right? And and he like goes backward through the portal. And there's kind of like a popping noise as the portal seals. Just in an instant, the portal just sutures shut and disappears.
Lolly looks at the hair, looks up at where the portal was, and just quietly whispers, "Coward." And then like fully collapses onto the stage.
Yep. Mercy falls out of the air. She had kept like jumping up into the air to like slash at the Chrysalis, and then fell back down and jumped up to slash at it. She falls out of the air, lands onto the stage, like tucks her blade away, and immediately books it to you, Sitlali, like immediately. And before you can like fall to the ground, she has you in her arms. Right? She like catches you in her arms, and like her undone hair is like falling all over your face, and she's going, Sitlali, are you okay? Was that you? Did you did the thing? You put it back.
I put it back.
Are you
put it back? Are
you hurt? Did he hurt you? Your chest. Oh, you're bleeding.
Am I?
Yeah. It's okay. Hey, let me staunch the. And she like rips up her shirt and starts like applying pressure like on the wound on your gut. Hey, you're gonna be okay. I'm here.
I got Ravi's soul.
What?
Ravi's not gone.
Ravi. Oka. And she like whips around, looks over her shoulder at Oka. Vinash is still sparking off of you. Old Mama Lightning's still there. What do you do?
Prince of repression that I am, Oka's fighting a god in their own body. Can I make a check to see if I can push Vinash back and bring myself to the center again?
Yes,
not
it is
to
going
let
to
go of him necessarily, but to put him back, so to speak.
Put him back, yes. That's gonna be a charisma contest.
Ooh, okay, let's go.
I'm gonna have him roll with disadvantage, though, because it's been a hard day for Vinash.
Unnatural 20.
One of my rolls was a nat 20, and the other roll was not very good. So... So, yeah, you win. Okay.
I think as the sound comes back, there's like one more single crack of lightning, and then like the Chrysalis gets like sucked backwards, Adam gets sucked backwards, like, and I think the storm also kind of gets sucked into Oka's body. Like they literally like force of will pull the lightning back into them. Like it's a ball of energy that they're tucking underneath their solar plexus, and they like shove it down and shove it back in, not out, not gone, not away, back where it belongs, back in them, back where they've kept it safe, where it's theirs. And they're not going to think too hard about that, but they are going to like, I think the polymorph also is like wearing off, but they like tuck in on themselves as this whole as they're putting the god back, and their body like I think doesn't know what it's going back to. Their soul is 1,000 different pieces stitched together again, and I don't know if they know how to put themselves back in the right order right away. And I think there's like this moment where their like skin just kind of like ripples with scales all the way down, and then it's their skin again, but there's no scars on it, right? And then like the scars return, and then like the I think the wings tear out of their back again. Not electric glass this time, as they kind of just like stumble backward for a moment, and I will let everyone else respond first before I keep doing anything.
I think as all of this is happening, Jiran has been on like on the stage, on his knees, like cradling the stump of his right arm, which is now like the bleeding has been staunched. And you can just see, I imagine it's kind of like crisscrossing of like blood ropes all around his legs, all around his body, as he's like on the ground, heaving from the pain that has all of a sudden stopped, I think, or at least like lessened to some degree. And they weren't able to really like do anything or react in any way to any of what was going on. But now that everything has come back, they look up, and I think their hair is covering their face, and so they're looking like through curtains of their white hair up at Oka, watching Oka turn back into this mishmash of themselves. And they just quietly, I think through a broken voice, call out to Oka from across the stage.
I think Oka's eyes like flick up, like almost startled by hearing their own name. And there's this like really distant, far away look in their eyes, and then they kind of refocus on you. And then their eyes go really cold.
I think Sitlali sees all of this and just kind of like pushes themselves up as best they can and grabs onto Mercy and says, "Get me to Oka."
Right, yeah, okay. And like with Mercy helping you along, I think you're able to get across the stage, bleeding a little, right? Staunched with the tourniquet, all the way to Oka's side.
And I think when they reach Oka, she just kind of gently wraps their arms around Oka's waist from behind and squeezes and just kind of presses herself there for a little bit.
And I think like on either side of your face there, like their wings kind of just like hold you, like and like tuck you in almost. And I think the arms are an odd comfort, and they're also a much needed barrier.
And Sitlali's blood does smell different to you. It tastes different to you. It's wrong, but I don't know if you're able to immediately tell what it is. But there is a marked difference from the last time you saw her. And Sitlali just kind of quietly into your back, because she's 5'2" and can't change that right now. You need to let him go. He needs to go home, Oka. You knew this would happen eventually.
I didn't want it to.
But you knew it had to. Let go.
Oka, you feel Vanash literally like lightning in a bottle, right? Like inside your soul, just sort of spark, and you just sort of feel and sort of hear like distantly, like ramming against the glass, right, of the soul that you've like shoved them down into. Just go,
no, this is mine. You're mine. No.
And I think they're just being pulled in so many different directions that I think like the words that come out of their mouth are, no, she's mine.
He's not yours. Sen is yours. Sen's waiting. Sen can't take you like this. Vanash has to go home.
Fuck. And on the like whispered word, Oka's gonna try to uncork the bottle out again.
Oka, as you drill deep down into your own soul and you like fish that violent, exposed, tender, vulnerable nerve of lightning that is Vanash's shattered soul out of your own body, I think like a bolts of lightning spark off your skin, and floating out of your chest is Vanash. Looks like a single bolt of red lightning suspended in a cloud of crimson storm. Vanash just jolts out of your soul, right, and begins to float through the air like toward old Mama Lightning, who's also standing there like arms like open, like ready to accept Vanash. And Vanash this entire time, Oka, in a voice only you can hear emanating in the confines of your brain, is just going, no, don't let me go, vessel. You're mine. You're mine.
Oka's eyes fall on Robbie's body, and they remember her holding on to Vanash, that they took Vanash for her. And I think the voices layer over where it's Ravi's voice, don't let me go, don't let me go. And Oka can't take it, I think, and they pull out of your grip, Sitlali, I think, and like swallow the light back up and immediately crumble to their knees as they do, I think, as they like tuck it back into themselves.
Mercy catches you, right? So like softens your fall as like Vinash is sucked back into your soul. Old Mama Lightning lets out a It's okay. It's okay, Thristi. It's okay, Siraksha. I know you want to be joined by your brother. I know what it feels like to be separated from family, but he's not ready. They're not ready. You, young Paragon, you're not quite ready to let him go yet, are you?
Oh, and Oka's just sobbing into the floorboards.
It's okay. I know what it's like to be scared of destiny. The people will be upon us at any moment. I'm still a wanted woman here, especially in the midst of the beating heart of the Chrysalis. I will take my leave. You know where to find me. And when you're ready, Paragon of Sen, bring me Vinash. Old Mama Lightning steps backward. And I think the lotus petals, like the golden petals that had like opened and bloomed like horizontally on the floor, like she steps back into the center of it and like closes up like a clamshell and then disappears, like teleporting her out of there, like in a sparkle of golden dust. Right before the golden plume unravels and she disappears in a cloud of dust, she takes out Kane's dagger from like a fold of her cloth robe and just drops it. And it clatters, stained with her own blood, like from her shoulder. She survived the blow, though. Clatters to your feet, Jiran. And then she disappears.
From your lips, bring me a sea. little bit different from everybody, but not a lot different. They keep statues of execution to harrow their spirit. You keep secret pictures of dead people in your underwear drawer because you find it erotic. You are a little bit different from me, but not a lot different. I hide in my blood, and you want to drink it. And I want you to drink it. Because you are made of food that I cannot eat. Because I am made of food that I cannot eat. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many genders. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many genders. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dance.
This episode include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, apocalypse, blood and bloodletting, complex and complicated relationships, cults and cult-like behaviors, curses, loss of limbs, and death of loved ones.
And as the dagger clatters next to your bloodied knees, I think, Jiran, like, you sort of like see old Rama Lightning's blood still laced on the blade. We're actually gonna pan away from you and over to kind of almost like, like a little corner of the stage to where Gentle is.
Fun. How loud is it now?
Much louder. Sort of like you were in like a panic room and then you stepped outside into the middle of a bustling New York street.
I'm still in a panic room, don't worry.
Cool.
I think the sudden, like, deafening silence to the amount of noise we're facing is a lot. I think I am just sort of still almost like focusing on just like the rhythm of my heart to like not freak out a little. As not only is so much noise, I'm just looking at everyone else and finally taking a moment to like, is my skin still like stony?
Gentle, as you stand there, like, it's quite overstimulating. As the bubble pops, the wound in the flesh of the now stitches itself back together. Adam and the Chrysalis recede into the nothing plane. Quite overstimulating as that bubble of silence disappears. And you can hear just like the shouting of people, like dozens and dozens, hundreds, if not 1,000 people at the base of the stairs teaming against the barricades. You can hear the lingering like expulsions of static from Vinash and from old Mama Lightning leaving. And the pounding of your own blood in your ears is overwhelming, right? It's deafening. You look down, and I think if it's okay with you, Gentle, I think your fingers are shaking as you look down at your own hands. And you just sort of see like the black marble that's like veined itself down your forearms, like covered, almost like the fingers of a glove, like over like the back of your hand and over your fingers. This blue marble begins to flake away, right? Just very slowly though. Like you reckon it'll take like at least an hour for it to all be gone. Just like millimeter by bare millimeter, flake away to reveal your Triton blue skin underneath.
I'm so torn on who to check on, honestly. I know where I'm gonna go. No one's actually like done anything to Jiran healing wise.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Stop the bleeding, babes.
I'm gonna go over there and try to staunch the blood and heal hand whatever I can.
Gentle.
I deserve it.
No, says the DM. Gentle, you walk over to Jiran, who is sort of cratered in their own blood. Jiran, what does Gentle see as they approach? Like, how are you positioned on the floor?
Jiran is crumpled over, folded in half, on his knees, like shins like on the ground, holding on to this arm. And before, he had been looking up at, I guess, everyone, since everyone was together on the other side of the stage. Through his hair, just this incomprehensible look in his eyes that is filled with shock and confusion and rage and grief and just everything and nothing all at once.
I think I just slowly like kneel next to you and begin to put healing hand on like where your arm was severed. And I just, like, in Rosie, softly whisper, I'm sorry I wasn't able to stop you.
Duran looks up at Gentle through his hair and just starts crying at that. It's not your fault, Gentle. It wasn't supposed to happen like this.
I could still tell. I know that look in your eyes when you are wildly ambitious beyond any sense of self. And if maybe I had talked to somebody, or I don't know, maybe we wouldn't be here right now. And I'm sorry.
There's nothing that you could have done. I should have been more careful. I
know. I've seen the look in your eyes before. Consequences kind of come second when you have that look. And I wish you didn't have to hurt like this.
I just wanted to make sure that you would be okay, that we would all be okay.
And we will. But we need to...
She's gone.
I know.
And it's a little unclear at this point whether Duran is talking about Ravi or Old Mama Lightning.
I just focus on healing Duran as much as I can. And I kind of don't say much, I think, for the rest of this.
At this point, Mercy, who has like caught Oka after stumbling onto the floor, sort of like looks up like at you, Sitlali, and then you, Oka, right? Just goes, we gotta get out of here. That barricade with all those people down there, I don't know how much longer it's gonna hold, and I don't want to be caught here with our pants down in front of the fucking Chrysalis fanatics, having to answer to where their fucking little god boy is. Adam, not you, Oka.
Oka hiccups weirdly, like they laugh, but they're choking on a sob at the same time, and their shoulders shudder. And they look across the stage to where I think Gentle and Duran are like have their like heads tucked, and are like having that conversation in low tones. And they look up at Mercy. Please go get Ravi.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't want any of those fucking cultists just looking at her.
Go.
And wordlessly, Mercy nods, gets up, and peels across the stage to where Ravi's body is.
And Oka turns fully, I think. And just like tucks themselves into Sitlali, leans down, if you'll allow it, like scoops underneath your legs, tucks, like just like the way that they tucked the god shard into their soul, they just kind of tuck Sitlali. And their like face is wet with these like big gold tears, right, that are like down their shirt. They're full of blood. They're like, their freckles, I think, are like moving around on their face, like from the remains of the polymorph spell, just kind of like putting themselves back where they should be. You did good. You can rest now. I got you, okay?
And I think Sitlali just lets out the longest sigh, and they're like, all of the tension in their body just kind of releases. And they don't say anything.
And Oka takes 2 steps before both of them are in the air. And I think they just kind of like fly sort of unintentionally low over Duran and Gentle, like up into the balcony, heading toward, I think up at the balcony, Oka pauses because they have no fucking idea where to go. And then they go to the secret garden because it's the only place they can think of.
Yep. With like 1, 2, like big, strong flaps of your wings, like wind cratering, ballooning outward from where you take off. Okay, you hover by the balconies and then you glide away from the center of the Chamber of the Republic and toward the secret garden on the fringes of the Senate House. Leave only Jiran, Gentle, and Mercy behind, with Ravi. Mercy very gently, like, hikes Ravi up, like bridal style, like her body is crying again, right? But her voice doesn't quaver. When she turns around to face Jiran and Gentle, does not address Jiran. What she says next is addressed only to Gentle. Karishma's garden. See you there. Turns around and just hoofs it off the stage.
Jiran?
Yes, Gentle.
Can you move?
And I think Jiran for the first time, like, tries. Like, they have not they've been kind of, like, rooted and frozen to the spot this whole time, and for the first time they try to move. They try to get up and can't, and, like, crumple back down onto the stage as the blood ropes are, like, keeping his legs there. And they look over at the dagger that is just in front of them with Old Mama Lightning's blood on it. They think about grabbing it, but their hand goes towards it and they, like, recoil as if they were, like, shocked with, like, static electricity. And they just start, like, ripping at the blood tethers with their hands, like, or with their hand.
If I may, I think as soon as you, like, pull it out of its form, it just kind of sloughs off into liquid. Is Oka's too far away to, like, maintain it?
Do you want the dagger still?
I think Oka should get to choose what happens with it.
Okay, get up and quickly pocket it. We should get going, but I kind of want to address the crowd a little bit.
Okay. And Jiran just kind of slowly, like, painfully stands up and gives Gentle, I think, like, a one-armed squeeze that's maybe a little bit, like, too tight, and then walks off the stage, just, I think, like, just into, like, a nearby hallway. He's gonna wait for Gentle. They're not going in by themselves.
Yeah, I think, Jiran, you retreat into the shadows beyond the stage behind, where you and Ravi had tussled. And I think maybe you wait in the remains of the statue of Dabathati, crumbled into pieces all around your feet. And you look out, onto the bright lit stage where Gentle and Gentle alone, surrounded by blood, scorch marks, cratered chunks of wood, turns. And Gentle, you see just a sea of people at the base of the stairs. There's like the Day and Night Watch guild members, as well as, like, other members of the Adventurers Guild are, like, doing their best to, like, hold back the crowd at the barricades. But people are trying to, like, go over, like, people are shouting and screaming. They're, like, asking, like, where's Adam? Where's the miracle? That fog cloud. Everyone's, like, clamoring, and clamoring voices are overlapping. The crowd is getting hungry, and you can sense it. What do you do, Gentle?
I think first off, I slide a mask on. Probably the one I put on for the fighting pits. And I just stand up. I think I'm covered in blood, not my own, of course. And I just sort of meekly, hi, everyone. What's the crowd's reaction?
Are you using magic to amplify your voice? Or are you just, like, talking like a normal person?
Let's say if I have a key point, if a key point could do it.
Yes, a key point will do it. You summon maybe, like, the last reserves of your magic, right? Like, this key point, you spend it, and as you say, hi everyone, your voice, like, rings out, like, booming, like sweeping down the steps like a breath of spring air, and, like, sweeping across this, like, huddled citizenry. And the crowd, like hushes. They all, like, turn and they look and, like, fix, like, eagerly awaiting hungry eyes upon you.
I'm not Adam, as I think everyone here can tell. Adam left. Adam summoned a monster that was going to hurt a lot of people. And some friends of mine managed to put it back. And I'll be honest, I don't think Adam wanted to help anyone who's right here. I have also survived the cataclysm, and it was terrifying. I came from Morose, saw a lot of bad things happen to a lot of good people, and I understand that you may have been scared for a long time and didn't know what to do, but I think finding Adam in the Chrysalis won't help. Working together is good, but I think that comes from helping each other, not for the benefit of a god or something that's more powerful than us, but just because it's good to help each other. In the last year, I was in Jukai and helped feed a bunch of people just because it was the right thing to do. Or I had a friend who helped my wolf because they wanted to build bridges. I think building bridges it's important. And you don't need the Chrysalis to do that. I think we can make Dabathati better just by being good and trying our best to help each other as a community. Anyway, bye. And I begin to try to walk away.
As you say this speech that sort of rings out to a silent crowd, everyone wants to know what the fuck just happened, so they're listening, rapt to you because they're what just occurred. When you finish your speech, some silence hangs, right? And you begin to sort of maybe step back. And that's when you hear someone, their voice sounds so small compared to yours because they don't have magic to amplify it. But some, just a random anonymous person, you can't even pinpoint who said it, in the crowd just shouts out, "Who are you?"
You can call me Gentle. And I will take my mask off.
And on you, taking your mask off to reveal your face to the crowd, there's the crowd begins to simmer, the silence is broken, right? Like a spoon cracking the surface of ice. People begin to murmur, what, Gentle, who's that? Their face, they're covered in blood. All these voices begin to surge and different kinds of what were they saying about Adam, a monster? Nonsense, Adam's the prophet. But we didn't see a miracle today. There's all sorts of mixed emotions and combating feelings in the sea of people. And barricades break. They break. The guards are unable to hold back the people anymore. They begin to surge forward and up the stairs toward you. What do?
I had something just in case that didn't work. A wall of wind. The gust of wind again. This is gonna look a little just very tuxedo match disappearing, but I create a bit of wind just around me. Mostly so I can get to Jiran and we can get out of here. So by the time they reach me, I'm gone.
Yeah, you do it. The people leading the charge of the crowd here, the couple extremely taking the initiative, they get buffeted and knocked backward by this massive gust of wind that explodes outward from you. None of them are hurt. They just sort of stumble backward, maybe fall into the crowd that's surging up. And you turn and you sweep into the dark chamber of the Republic to meet Jiran. And I think the two of you are able to get out of there with no problems after that. And I think we should cut now to the garden. In Karishma Bataval's secret garden, we hear goof, goof, poof, as wing flaps come down and Oka lights onto dewy ground, surrounded by fronds of plants, the sweet smells of various summer fruits and flowers, the low gurgling of a nearby brook, the chittering of toucans and insects in the underbrush. Oka, you land, I think maybe for drama's sake, in the pond. In the circular pond where water splashes and ripples outward, right? As you touch down, your wings fold against your scapulae, and you have Sitlali tucked close against your chest. What do the two of you do?
I think there's this kind of funny callback to the time that Oka carried V out of Sievert's burning office. It makes them feel better more than anything, but they're just kind of murmuring in this low tone, just sweet dove, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. You're okay. You did great. You did good. And they land kind of hard in the water. I think because the trees were too thick to land anywhere else, so they just go right in for it. And they don't let Sitlali down in the water. They just kind of like slosh awkwardly to the edge of the pool. And then I think they like pause there because they don't really want to let them down yet.
I think Sitlali is kind of clinging to Oka as like the enormity of the everything of the past hours, because what is time? Literally. And they just kind of start, not even to Oka, kind of more to themselves, just start kind of saying, he took it. He took it. He took that from me.
What did he take? Who? That fucking snake. Tell me. And I think they finally do kind of like put Sitlali down, like seat them very, very gently on the edge of this pool, and they just kind of like get down so that they're eye level with you.
Sitlali turns, and I think the bite is still there. And I think that's where the blood looks like the most wrong. And I think there's kind of like a desperation and a lack of words in Sitlali's eyes.
And Oka gets their puzzle face on, I think. And they, I think, reach out and just kind of trace around it. And I am going to use my healing hands. So you'll get 14 HP back. Is there anything that I can glean just from like tracing the bite mark?
That's Adam. Adam bit Sitlali and did something to them. It wasn't just like a regular bite, which would have been bad and weird and gross enough. There's some sort of like enervating, sickly magic that has poisoned Sitlali's reserves of arcane energy.
And their eyes do they do the math. I don't think they understand what has happened, but they understand that something has happened. And they just bring Sitlali back in and just like tuck their head like against their chest. We'll get it back. Okay, we'll get it back. That snake can't fucking hold on to it forever.
How long was I gone?
2.5 days.
Felt like a lot longer.
I told Mercy that any date that lasts that. Never mind. I'm sorry, Sitlali.
For what? You didn't do anything? Hell, you found me.
Of course I found you.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Do you want me to bring her back?
She was a blood hunter, but she didn't really believe in necromancy.
So do you want me to ask her first?
Oka nods slowly.
I can do that. And it's kind of apparent that Sitlali is like trying to repress the everything that just happened, and it's not happening. It's not working. The compartmentalizing is not working. They are trying to latch on to new projects, but like you can see like their eyes don't really stay still. They're kind of constantly looking for any threat. They don't, like, their hands, I think, shake more than they ever have, and just like there is an unsteadiness to them that you haven't seen before.
And I think one that Oka recognizes that keeps coming out in themselves over and over and over again. And I think they just take Sitlali's hands, like maybe as you like shift away to start doing something. No, Sitlali, she's gone.
She's not gone. We got soul and we have the body, and it hasn't been that long, so it's not that hard to ask a couple of questions, see if she wants to come back, and then...
I don't want it to be hard at all. For you.
It's what I do.
Then let me help you. Please.
And Sitlali nods slowly.
Sort of like on cue, you all sort of hear like footsteps trudging through like undergrowth. A couple fronds and branches part, some dew flies off of like blades of grass, and Mercy's there, holding Ravi, right, like in her arms, like face streaked with fresh tears. There you are. Okay, good. And Mercy just like sort of wordlessly falls to her knees and like gently puts Ravi's body in the pond. And like the blood immediately starts like washing off her body and like trailing deeper into the water, staining it crimson. And Mercy just like puts her there and like lets her bleed out, right, like into the water, and is just kneeling there staring at her body vacantly.
I think Oka kind of like sidles up beside her and just like tucks themselves into her. And they also just kind of look down at Ravi and then up at Sitlali again.
So I'll ask first, yeah?
Ask what?
I was going to ask Ravi if they wanted to come back.
Is that possible? I mean, we have her soul and her body right here. Could we bring her back?
Mercy, necromancy is not something you do to other people.
What do you mean it's not something you do to other people? Isn't that what necromancy is? Like raising skeletons and stuff? Making them carry your books?
Different when it's a person.
Okay, I mean, I've never heard of... I know it's not allowed in the court to bring back people who have died, but I always thought that maybe it was possible with dark magic. Will she be the same if we bring her back? Will she come back, Sitlali?
I'll need to sleep on it, but after that, tomorrow morning, I could do it.
Okay. And she won't, like, her body's gonna be fine in a day, right, Oka? It's not gonna be too late. We don't have to do it, like, right now, right?
She doesn't have until tomorrow.
Then can you do it, Sitlali? Can you ask the Raven Queen if it's okay to bring Ravi back? If she'll be okay if she's brought back? She'll be herself. She'll be fine.
I can't promise an answer. And they start pulling out. I think they start actually looking in like on their person for their like knuckle bone prayer beads, the ones that I think Oka used. And then like doesn't find them, shakes it off, holds the feather, and kneels and casts divination.
Okay.
Which means I can ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. And I think they just kind of like look over into the water and say, if you're there, I could really use some help right now.
Roll religion.
I'm not proficient in that.
What? You're not proficient in religion?
Nah.
That's
proficient
fucking
Is there a way I can help?
Yeah,
Because
how are you
I
helping?
Ravi's blood in the water, I think, where Sitlali is looking and where Oka sees them looking, Oka starts manipulating the blood in the water to come towards Sitlali and start to draw out a sigil for, I think, a sigil of the divine triptych.
Ooh, I really like that. Sitlali, roll with advantage with Oka's help.
Okay. 21.
Okay. With a 21, as you entreat the water swirling with blood and images of the divine triptych, Sitlali, you're aware of what they are. It's basically a theory. The divine triptych is a magical theory that's widely regarded as a highly reputable one in terms of necromancy and how magic works, like how the body works. This idea that the divine triptych is comprised of body, mind, and soul, and these three things together make a person. make like a sentient being. That's what a person is. And magic sort of runs through all three things, like body, mind, and soul. And when one part of the divine triptych in a person is afflicted, it affects the other two parts as well. They're not like disparate parts, they're all interwoven. You see the divine triptych, the symbols for these three aspects, shatter with like a skull symbol, kind of like symbolizing death. Ravi's death, and especially how it happened, like you see like little holes perforating and shattering through, was extremely traumatic. And when you die violently, the bonds between body, mind, and soul are severed in a way that's very traumatic to the body. It's why bringing people back from the dead is really hard to do. Even if you have like a hot body and their soul, right? Even if you stuff the soul back into the body, you see the triptych attempt to reform itself, but like sort of crammed in like a perverse tessellation of what the original triptych looked like. Kind of like Oka when they were like shuddering through different forms trying to come back to themselves. And you get the sense that Lali, what this means is you could try to shove Ravi's soul back into her body, but whether or not what comes back is Ravi, there's a very low percentage of that, especially given how she died, which is why there's like tons of like stories and folk tales of like heartbroken mages whose lovers died, right? They try to bring them back, but they came back as like a zombie, right? Or like the soul was shattered beyond repair when they came back and they don't remember who they are, right? It's extremely risky to raise the dead. Here in Andake, because of the divine triptych and how magic works in that sense.
I think Sitlali kind of like staggers back from that and like loses whatever like grip they had on keeping them upright, and they just kind of like land flat on their back, I think, and just kind of stare up at the air above them, breathing hard because it's been a day. They're probably still bleeding a little bit. They haven't done anything about that. And I think their voice shakes even though they are trying very hard to keep it from shaking. Like they are trying to put on the mask they are so familiar wearing, and they can't because they just do not have it in her. And she goes, "It's 1 in 100 shot."
Ravi doesn't take chances like that.
What happens in the 99%?
Nothing good.
And Mercy just sort of like falls back, right, onto the heels of her feet. So she's gone. She's really gone. Just like that. Because of him.
What happened to him?
I don't fucking care. Mercy like gets up, I think, like turns away from Ravi's body, like she doesn't want Ravi's body to see this, and just like slams like the flat of her fist like against a nearby tree, right? And like the branches shudder and like leaves fall down. I need to be alone for a minute right now. If and when Gentle and Jiran come back, tell Jiran not to find me, not to look at me, not to talk to me, because I'm scared that I will fucking kill him if he does.
Understood, love.
Thank you, Sitlali. I'm so glad you're back and safe. I love you. I just need a minute.
I know. I love you too.
With like a really shaky half smile, Mercy turns and strides deeper into the garden. And I think maybe that's when Jiran and Gentle, the two of you push past branches, you step over pebbles and stones, you slosh through this dewy grass to enter the inner sanctum of Karishma Bataval's secret garden, to find Sitlali and Oka by the pond, stooped over Ravi's perforated body, leaching blood toward the teleportation sigil in the center, currently shrouded and invisibilized by magic. What do y'all do?
Jiran has been following Gentle, I think, from like a pace or two behind the whole time. And they come out like covered in their own blood, probably also a bit of Old Mama Lightning's blood and Ravi's as well. and still cradling their arm like it's the only thing that is grounding them in this moment, they look up at the rest of the hounds and they walk slowly up to Oka and just fall, crumple onto his knees, just wordlessly in front of them.
Oka was kneeling before, and I think as Gentle and Jiran both kind of break through the underbrush, they stand up, and every step that Jiran takes closer to them, they reach up over their shoulder and they unsheath the Dream Hunter, and they don't point it at him, but they just lower it to their side and watch completely silently.
Jiran doesn't react or flinch or make any sort of sign that he has noticed, really, or even registered what Oka is doing in this moment.
They look down. There's this really solid layer of stone behind their expression. Give me one good reason not to take your other arm.
I don't have one. And they look up at you as they say that, tears streaming down their face. No, I would have never done that. Not on purpose. But I can't take it back.
Why?
Because you matter, Oka? Because you matter to me? You matter to us? You matter to the world. Even if the gods don't think that you do, even if to them you're just an animal, a vessel, a jar. But you matter to me. And I just wanted you around.
You wanted me around. I wanted Ravi around.
It wasn't supposed to be her. It was supposed to be Old Mama Lightning.
Why?
Because if one paragon dies, then the prophecy changes. The river changes. You did it once. I thought maybe I could do it this time. You did it to save your mother, father. Right? Someone that you love? Someone that you care about?
Do you think you did me a favor? Do you think that breaking the prophecy is a favor, Jiran? Do you think I want that? Do you think that I have been running along this merry line of destiny because I want to? Do you think that I'm okay? Do you think that I don't want to fight? You didn't give me a choice, Jiran. You took one away. You tried to take away my fucking failsafe, Jiran. Because at the end of the day, if your hope bleeds out, I'll still have to die. If all of this comes to nothing, I'll still have to die. And I can't be fucking afraid of that. I can't run away this time. Every time you ask me why I'm just going along with this, every time I want to give in, I want to lean into you and tell you that I won't. I want to tell you that I won't let the gods sacrifice me. But I'd be running away. And I saw what happened the last time I ran away. To everyone I've ever turned my fucking back on. I can't turn my back on you.
I just wish that you would see that it doesn't have to be this way. I wish you would see and fight for yourself the way that you fight for us. The way that you fought for your mother, father. I wish you cared about yourself the way that you care about the rest of us.
Oka leans down and takes Duran's chin in their fingers. I have been fighting. Don't make me fight you.
If that's what it takes to keep you alive, then fight me. Do whatever you want. Cut off my arm. Tear out my heart. Wear my blood like a fucking medal if you want. Just live.
Stop. And Sitlali doesn't even sit up. She is flat on her back listening to this. And like, their voice cuts through in the softest, most genuine pleading. Just stop. Both of you.
You don't deserve my blade. And Oka lets go of Duran and turns away. And they slosh, I think they get back into the pond and slosh through the water toward the dais. And they're gonna get up on it. They don't know how to use it, but they're gonna get up on it, and they are just gonna stand there and will themselves home. Because they can't fucking stand to be here.
Please don't leave.
They pause.
Not again.
And they shove Dream Hunter into one of the sigils. Where they go to the edge of it and sit down.
And I think Sitlali just starts crying. Too tired to get up, too overwhelmed by everything that's happening, and they just cry.
Oka, as you had approached the dais, it had rippled into existence, basically, as you approach it. And as you had shoved Dream Hunter into a sigil and sat down on the edge of the dais, but you had willed home. You'd willed home at the dais. There's sort of like a light, I think, like sparkles and cracks, kind of like broken static because of the sever sigil, up like through the symbols, and you can feel like half of your body, because your back's turned toward it. It seems to be tugged toward it, like the teleportation magic is like tugging you toward it. But actually, I think a figure actually forms. And zaps in, kind of, and as like the light fades off, right? Particulates of this radiant dust, like flying off of the shoulders of their white lab coat. Dr. Aluso kind of standing there, kind of in the middle. Seems to be in the middle of like cooking something. They've got like a saucepan out and like a wooden spoon in one hand and Kiss the Cave Fisher apron on over their lab coat. They're in the middle of, they like look around as like the light dies down and they're just sort of there. They, Oka? And I think we can end the session there. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Arc 5, Episode 9 of Dabathati of Second Stranger. That was physically painful for me as a GM to sit through. Can I just say that was physically painful for me, and I like needed some catharsis. I needed a Kiss the Cave Fisher apron at the end. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Connie, pronounced they, he, and she. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Itch, and Ko-Fi at by Connie Chang, BYCONNIECHANG. Toss a coin to your Connie. I'm never not gonna sing that. Never not gonna sing that at the end of my sign-offs. I'm gonna pass along outtroductions over and up to Quinn.
Quinn. My pronouns are they, she. You can find me on Twitter at Quintastic_. I write games, and I'm in games, and I am a sensitivity reader, and I do things. TM. So you should probably look on the Twitter, because I'd probably talk about that there. I am very tired, and I'm gonna throw it to Dare.
Hi everyone, I'm Dare. She, they pronouns for me. You can find me on most places on the interwebs over at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. Yeah, I do a lot. It's just writing, editing, performing, yada 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 yada. Check me out on TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr. I guess I'm hanging out there on occasion. Yeah, it's life's weird. Anyway, we're gonna take it over to my toxic bestie, Humna.
Hi, I think that's me. Hi, my name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I'm a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. I do play exclusively queer disasters who make bad decisions. So if you like/hate what I do, you should definitely follow me and watch more of it. I'm just gonna pass it over to my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. I have no idea. Oka, C, take it over.
Bold to think that you can call me anything. Hi, my name is C. Wow, that one came right from the heart. Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they them pronouns. I am a I don't want to say dancer anymore because that doesn't feel accurate to what I'm doing here. I'm a TTRPG performer, digital artist, producer, dramaturg of many hats that I wear. I played Okahyen, they them fame, who's definitely doesn't have any codependent relationships at all. I think none, 0 on the scoreboard for Oka over here. Everything's not fine. You can find me at Pie Sharp Art making very trans, very gay art. I have such a moody Oka and Jiran piece that I've been working on. There's a lot of blood involved. There's a knife involved. It's really good. So I'm very excited for that to, just come out. And I'll pass it back to Connie for our outroduction.
Yes, this has been Transplanar RPG, Second Stranger, all trans POC-led show. I just want to point out that, Oka broke up with Jiran, was like, I want to go home. So Ali was like, please, for the love of God, don't leave again. Oka was like, fine. And Home was like, I'll come to you. Here, you want big, no titty, soft girlfriend, non-binary girlfriend to cry into? Here you go, Oka. We're gonna raid someone really amazing, I'm sure. Stick around for the raid. Use our raid message. Even if you can't stick around to watch them because you're exhausted, because I'd be too after that episode. Just say Transplanar sent you. Toss them a follow if you fuck with their shit. Rep Transplanar in chat. Just say hello. Say you're gonna lurk, whatever. We love you all so much. We're gonna raid someone great. And Bijo until next Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific. 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Next Saturdays, that's when we stream. Bye! Bijo!
Dum